chairman del Kabataan kontra Droga. Pelea droga el diamontamen un advocacia esta administración de mio. So kerayo may SK officials ka involved no na droga ikere tamen iyo na mas man-advocate kami na ang mga jóvenes ay queda lejos na con este mal klase de droga.
Okay, I'll reserve my other questions. I'll give a chance.
I have a question, but hablé contigo, we hear aquí na programa Pagbabago by Rex Mirabete, Jun Feliciano, I myself. We are thinking of ase con el Zamboanga City, deja con el Zamboanga City hasta na Mercedes, Ancina City, as a province. What do you think about that?
Actually, sir, no, last month siguro, no, I don't know if hindi got bien actual conversation together with other councilors. Tapos de kami kalpensa también, no, because of the numbers daw di atong vivientes akin na syudad. So nasisita también kita man-expand at the same time, kaya kita dalil oportunidad ng mga barangay para kada gayot, kada grande el de la fondo y también el support.
So I hope talito na council, no? I hope pwede to kanila man clear up. Kay look, according to Rex Mirabete, el Vitali before, chinya restaurant, el ipil may pa. Nakiberto ara el ipil compared to Vitali. Por eso, ablayo, mabueno got si mang-create el province. I hope you can bring the idea to the councilors there.
Si.
Kay Keberto mira to ha, man apply to business permit. Bini pa to kina city. Pati takeda ka bien crowded el city yaton.
Si.
I hope you can help us to move into
Yes.
this direction. Thank you, thank you.
But
Si, sir.
I would like to request our guests to tell our televiewers as to what are the committees where he is a member or chairman. Committees that you are
Committees, sir. Okay. So far, sir, no, I am the chairman on youth and sports development. I'm also the chairman on social welfare, vice chairman of the persons with disability. I am also the vice chairman of health, and then members of the following: anti-drugs, education, labor and employment, pollution and solid waste, science and technology, tourism, women and children. Yun, sir.
All of the above. Anyway, maraming committees ang hinawakan or you are a member. These are all important committees. My next question is, do we have calamity funds for CSWD and agricultural problem natin dito sa city? We have, before we have calamity funds, every calamity, we have that assistance given to the farmers. And of course, calamity funds for our street children, these mendicants, rugby boys, and crazy boys and girls who are roaming around the city freely, sometimes half naked, and they are walking scandalously.
Yes.
What is your thought on this?
Actually, sir, during that time, I guess Councilor Olaso passed a resolution, no, regarding this matter. Pero so far with my with my committee, so pinag-uusapan po yan namin ni Ma'am Socorro Rojas, no, kung anong pwede nating itulong dito sa city kasi parating reklamo ng mga bisita na pupunta dito. Hindi pa pandemic, pero yung unang sumasalubong sa kanila itong mga tao na to, na humihingi sa kanila ng pera, humihingi ng pagkain. So, meron po tayong funds dyan, sir, pero hindi talaga siya ginagamit, no? So, yung gusto po nating ibigay o gusto nating i-assist sa mga taong yan, kung saan po sila pwedeng dalhin, kung saan po sila pwedeng i-locate para naman po mabigyan sila ng pansin at saka mga pagkain na kinakailangan po nila.
Do you mean to say that up to now we do not have a rehabilitation center for these people?
Yes, sir. Based on my knowledge, wala pa, sir, for now. So, meron po tayo yung mga bahay kalinga, pero may mga qualifications po kasi, no? May mga process po na sinusundan. So, hindi po talaga nila ma-force yung mga taong yan, yung sa mga lansangan sa downtown. So, yun po.
You know, this is a serious problem. Ano hindi ma-force? If they are committing a crime, they can be forced to be confined and rehabilitated, di ba? The problem is that it has been neglected for so much, for so long a time, and while we are having a rehabilitation center in Santa Barbara, that is too small.
Yes,
We should have a bigger area, and yet we are boasting that Zamboanga City is the fifth richest country in the world, and yet country in the Philippines, and yet we cannot even rehabilitate these crazy boys and girls roaming around naked, sometimes half naked or sometimes naked, no?
Yes, sir.
And we have the mendicants, we have the rugby boys, we have the street children. These are all scandalous. So the city, Zamboanga, a highly urbanized and a modernized city like Zamboanga City, you can find this kind of people. John.
Yes, to follow up, you know what? These people, if they cannot be reformed, rehabilitated, they will become potential hardcore criminals in society, and that will be a problem for the youth, especially.
Yeah.
I hope by now we should address this problem. Now tell me, Councilor Pyok, how do you address this phenomenal teenage pregnancy problem in Zamboanga City? Teenager, taman pinyada ya.
Sí.
Concern, ustedes, kami también concern. Pakimodo kita con eso.
Sí, actualmente, sir, también uno de problema, ¿no? Aquí na diatan syudad kasi tasubit también el caso del teenage aquí na diatan syudad. So, cuantos mga ahensya ya kita, no? Tan koordina para kung sa ba pwede kita as solusyon. Kay kami, un sektor de jóvenes, pwede kami asisti kung ang mga programa si Cosa Dale Kanaton, LD Aton Department of Health, especialmente LD Aton City Health Office, si Cosa kita pwede manera para pwede kita kung este solba el problema. El kaso, tamira kita sir, no, manada factor kasi Cosa ta kontribuhi, no, por causa, porque ba, tasubi pa syempre el kaso del diaton teenage aki na diaton syudad. So one of those tamira kami el por causa na status del vida. Next namin is about culture, no? Kay sabi man kita na culture del diaton mga brothers Muslim and diaton brothers and sisters in Muslim at the age of 15 siguro ka sir, no? Legal ya kanila para kasa. So alya si naman tamprinyada mga bata di suyo edad na teen pa, so tapos tamen alya tamenta aumenta el caso. So manada factors ko sa tan contribute con este, pero amo also, no, prioridad también di amon mga jóvenes ang mga SK officials para include gayod programa para pwede kita menora con el numero del di aton teenage cases akin na di aton syudad. And as of now, so no, I myself, no, working together with the DOH personnel para tase kami kami ordinansa para pwede kita man address kung este issues. So, of course, our suggestion del di aton DOH na necesita gat kita anay ordinansa regarding na adolescents, no? An ordinance creating the council for adolescents youth, and at the same time ko sa mga programa hindi lang alya el programa para man address el issue del teenage pregnancy, at the same time mental health and other concerns namin regarding na di aton salud.
Kunti, kusap ka dito Rambo na Committee on Sports?
Chairman, sir. Chairman.
As chairman on the Committee on Sports, kusa sports ara during this time of pandemic, kusa sports ta pwede?
Actualmente, sir, no, even though na maskin na pa-pandemic, tasi kami mga esports, electronic sports, no, it's an online platform de mga games na tapos kita man impressed, tapos kita man advocate, sir. Pero so far ara, no, tan alaw yaman LD aton IATF na pwede yung mga physical sports pero man observe lang kahit minimum health protocol. Pero we encourage na si pwede gani man postpone lang anay todo klase de mga sports para to prevent more spread del COVID-19.
Okay.
Anyway, John, in relation to your question a while ago about teenage señorita pregnancy.
That's your
It's not a
favorite
problem
song.
in Zamboanga City, but anyway, this is especially during these calamities in Cagayan, in Isabela, in Catanduanes. They have a serious problem there in these areas now. They have the so-called teenage pregnancy in evacuation centers. Because in the evacuation centers, they are compacted, diba?
Yes,
And
yes.
some people there are taking advantage of the situation. So they are expecting a bigger pregnancy
Number.
problem after this calamities happen there. In the evacuation center mismo, kasi alam mo na, so many
Intention is there.
opportunists for people. But anyway, coming back to our problem in the city, what is the status of our youth education in Zamboanga City? Because I recall that few years ago, our city was last in the national achievement test
Yes.
throughout Region 9. Out of 5 provinces, 4 provinces and 2 cities, we were last. And yet we are the only highly urbanized city in Zamboanga Peninsula. We were lagging behind Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, Sibugay, wherein some of their municipalities are 3rd class, 4th class, 5th class municipalities. And Isabela, a component city, has even a higher score than Zamboanga City. What do you think? Why this is happening here?
I guess sir no siguro it's more on encouragement kuno diaton mga estudyante no. So far with the new administration of the division superintendent, tali disuyo encouragement at the same time tali disuyo goal para si pwede subi ko na di aton numero para na maga-test kita ASL estudyante no. So time to time taanda kami bisita na Department of Education alin na di ila opisina para pregunta si ko sa mga palta si ko sa mga nesesita asistensya para kanila kay uno tamen del advocacy or uno tamen del prioridad del di aton city mayor na KRL no todo estudyante cosa necesita ay aprende cosa necesita ayuda ay pwede kita asisti so si ansina klase el impresyon del diaton mayor at the same time ansina tamen el goal del diaton superintendent akin na diaton syudad so posible siguro mas man encourage kita kun diaton mga estudyante para estudyante bonamente y también asemira manera del mga exams cosa sila pwede ase.
But anyway, this is not only the problem of Zamboanga. This is nationwide. If we recall, few months ago, there was that publication that 70,000 pupils, students in Bicol do not know how to read English. You can just imagine that 70,000. That is just in Bicol. How about other provinces, including Zamboanga Peninsula? And another serious issue is that out of 79 countries, we were last in English and mathematics during that we call it Program for International Student Assessment. We were last. You can just imagine that. And yet, I recall John and Ed, 50 years ago, in 1950s, 60s, 70s, the Philippines was second best English-speaking country in the world. We were next to England. And now our students cannot even read. Why do you think that we are deteriorating?
Siguro it's for me sir no on my own opinion siguro it's more on reinforcement no sa ating mga teachers siguro bumaba na din yung ano natin mga kung ano yung pwedeng ibigay sa mga estudyante. I guess we need to capacitate first the teachers no para kung ano yung tinuturuan nila it's more on encouragement and how to equip talaga yung mga estudyante natin.
Anyway, ganito yan, we'll make it short kasi we are running out.
Yes, okay.
Ang problema dito, ang curriculum natin. Because before, even this Secretary of Drones, I think we were grade 1 at the same time, but in different provinces. No?
Yes.
From grade 1, English was already taught. From grade 1, there was already that reading contest. No?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
we are deteriorating by going backward. Instead of moving forward, we are going backward. Why? Because from grade 1, we are now using vernacular, and from grade 1 to grade 3, grade 4 to grade 6, English. But because they are already used to it, no? Kaya sa Cebu, the governor passed an executive order requiring all public and private schools to use English from grade 1. Kasi yung ganito, Ilonggo ka, you speak Ilonggo in your house, dating sa eskwela, Ilonggo pa rin. Pag-graduate, Ilonggonggo ka. Ilonggonggo
Yes,
ka. Diba? So, something is wrong with our curriculum. No? In fact, to my mind, John, there's a need to go back to English from grade 1. Because in other countries, they are not good. They are not good in speaking English because before they were using their vernacular, but they shifted to using English. Sa atin, hindi. Instead of continuing, we are going backward. We have good leaders, we have good English speakers. Yeah, you have Ninoy Aquino, Marcos,
Yes, sir.
Manglapos, Rodrigo Tanyada, Roselier Lim was one of the best English speakers.
Speaker, okay.
At 18 hours nagsalita siya. Ano ba?
Yeah, yeah.
He was
Filibuster.
he spoke for 18 hours without you see. So these people are products of teachers who were only ETC, eating talong kamote or elementary teacher certificate holder. Now we have all doctors, we have masteral degrees, we have this BSA, Bachelor of Science in Education and Elementary Education, and we have so many doctors now in the Department of Education, and yet our educational system is going down. John?
Okay, now back to the youth problem that you are facing today. In this modern time, online education yaman kita, no?
Si,
Yaman ka, ano pa. Now, como tuli leader ng mga youth, kung saka kita pwede ayuda kung ito mga jóvenes that they have a hard time catching up. In fact, manada kaso de, yan suicide, mga bata, kayo no pwede masila, kwan. Ha? Lebe siguro, kaya tamine sa yaliyo, ayuda de psychiatrist con estos, para ayuda con esto, kay difícil gatel mga jóvenes ahora ang catch up na online. Makalastima. Being the representative, cosa measures ya pwede ga kutupen sali to do away este mga insidente de suicide. Kaya kita ka sa mga suicide mga estudyante kay cosa de online de
Si, actually, sir, no, niya kita tadali mag online, virtual seminars, trainings, tang spearhead SAL di aton, psych society, akin na di aton, syudad, no. So, para ko na mag-SK tambien, sir, actualmente, existing program niya, kel, di aton, psych department, no, the GZMC. So, kosa kami kere man top, iman, man partner, kunel society, para pwede tamin kami introduce, kunel di amon, kaday kual barangay. So, first and foremost, namira kami, man capacitate anay kami, man trained anay kami kunel mga SK officials, and at the same time, LSK officials, kanya ka ba man training, man adapt sila na dila kaday kual barangay to assist ang mga students alina di ila barangay, akal especialmente akal tapasa tormento por causa con este online classes.
Okay.
Actually, sir, no, hindi lang online classes el di ila problema, even el module, no, kasi tiyan mga diato, tiyan mga paryente, no, no ay akaba gradua, hindi sila tanto sabi, si kosa man answer na module. So, ang mga bata tan pressured kay por causa pa na tan meet a deadline, kabar nun sabi sila pakimodo kosa el answer, pakimodo sila man answer. So, akel uno tamen tamira kita el maga problema or uno tamen del mga rason porque chenetan suicide mga estudyante. Pero so far, and accordingly na di aton DepEd, naipakaso diyan sina klase akin na di aton
Anay pa ba?
Si yan suicide per causa lang na module. Amo sa el base ese na report del di aton DepEd.
Good. Lusinay pa. Okay. Another question siguro. If you're not
Pregunta,
ready.
chiedere contigo pregunta, do you think quanto percent del mga estudyante ta aprende na module? Tamire dumay?
See, based on my assessment, sir, no, based on my assessment, siguro ako, privilege ko na kayo sa mga estudyante, kiyan sabi ya, no? Si abri sila ko ng module, sabi sila ko sa answer, pakimodo akal mga kiyan in passion gayot para estudya. Pero kung nakelyos magahente or mga estudyante, akal taanda lang na eskwela for causa just to comply para gradua sila, pero hindi man gayot sila ta aprende, mas tormento este tiempo na durante dal module. So mas tormento sila intende ko ng module kay during their times na na eskwela hindi sila ta pwede saka or hindi sila ta pwede aprende gayot na kosa sila necesita aprende i-aura may kanila kentang guide sila lang on their own man answer ko na LD lang module so mas tatormenta sila aprende.
I hope that illegal bakuna para face-to-face siya el study del mga bata. Kaya tamiri is na module, no, kahit mga quanto porsyento to tapira? Mga less than 50%.
Actualmente si sir less correct less kay maski yung mismo ko na sir no si siya nakita mga trainings not only na diaton focus na eskwela maski trainings gani si virtual lang kita no trainings tormento kita man catch ko na attention dahil diaton mga participants what more sinakasa ng mga estudyante.
Okay.
Now,
May
another.
isa lang yun, in connection with age.
Okay.
Ito ano natin, module. There are a lot of errors, no? And yet our DepEd people are composed of so many doctors. You see? And yet
Yes, sir.
erroneous ang ating mga module. This educational system, back to back or face to face, but if the curriculum is erroneous, then nothing will happen. Going back to this vernacular, no?
Yes sir.
Before, we do not apply vernacular. The Philippines started English from grade 1. Other countries, Japan and even China, no? They were in way of the Philippines because we are already good English speakers.
Yes po.
So sila, they adopted the English language in their early years of their education. Sa atin dito, imbes na continue to bumalik tayo. You
Yes,
see?
sir.
We went back to vernacular. So, from grade 1 to grade 3, vernacular, grade 4 to grade 6, supposed to be English. Pero the children are used to it already. So, from grade 1 to grade 6, vernacular hanggang high school. That is the reason why we are last in the PISA program for international student assessment. Out of 79 countries, we are last. 70,000 students in Bicol cannot read. We are last in sa mga sa national achievement test. You see? Because of that, there is a need really, John and Ed, to me, to rectify or maybe restore back the English teaching from grade 1 so that our students will improve and maybe they can even sabi natin na they will be much better than those graduates in 1950s and 60s. Why? Because we have now having so many masteral and doctoral degree holders.
Yes sir.
Principal doctor, supervisor doctor, division superintendent doctor, people in the division office doctor, DepEd puro doctor, kulang lang ng quack doctor.
Okay. Another question, if I may.
Sir.
Curious ako dito yung views, no? An opinion. Kung our very controversial red tagging na mga eskwela, mga youth activists. Akin na syudad de Zamboanga, problematic baste mga district klase na eskwela jaton, takida aktivista, kailan na Manila, grabe ste issues te. Are you concerned about this? And kosaki, problematic ba siya?
Actualmente sir no hindi got sa kita pwede kita no hindi got sa kita pwede kita na mga universities kaya chene ali mga aktivista. So as far as I know no chene mga ansina klase de estudyante no aktivista gayot nakaday kwal universidad pero hindi much grabe hindi gayot bien grabe igual na Manila na mga UP. So aki kailang sila syempre LD la limitasyon si cosa limitasyon di ila si tan aktivista man sila it's more on online So, na online sila tan express ko sa LD la sentimiento, ko sa LD la mga concerns, ko sa LD la mga comments. So, more on online sila, not alyagat mismo na universidad.
And you encourage them to be active. Active is not necessary to be left-leaning. No?
Yes, sir.
Kaya idealistic man sa mga jóvenes.
See. Yes, actually, sir, it is alright naman, no? Especially mga estudyante, even you had before, si ko sir tapensa na para na buen or tapensa yun na pwede ko sa kontribuhi. Tan express gat sir, no? But, always remember a limitation del estudyante. So, respect, talya syempre, respeto kunel eskwela di aton, iyan kunel di aton mga administrator. So, ase, pone na lugar, el cosa man kita tayo, sir.
Now, tell me frankly, about your supposed close affiliation with Congressman Celso Lobregat. Manada taman misunderstood, midawtali tukon kong Celso Lobregat. Kaya sabi to sa sector, youth sector is apolitical, sir. Can you clarify on this?
Yes. Actually, sir, si talaga tukon kong Celso, siguro ko sa LDC yung mga ideya amo yung liban na konseho, no, pero I am 100% pwede abla ko na di aton mga bibiyentes si Coseta aso na konseho di may decisions el Coseta pa sa mga resolutions mga ordinansa tan joint kita, no, tan second kita ay todo lang sa na di may own decision, no. So alegre yun na right after election, the Amon, last 2018, and their election, after the election, may kumigo ko sa dikta si Kong Celso or may kumigo ko sa Yabla, este bo ase or este ko sa ase. So, este todo, mucho kasi tabla, no, kasi yan observe sila na session, tan participate yagat kita, tan introduce kita mga amendments, uwi tamen sila LD aton mag-suggestions. So, they thought na ay si Celso sa takunala tayo da, ay si Celso sa kunala taabla ko sa leaser. Pero no, sir, no, 100% yung pwede abla na may gayot ko sa yan touch si Celso para ko sa iyo DCD, para ko sa iyo ase kunal diamond si ko sa iyo ase kunal baga jóvenes.
Ahora, para bien de ciudad, quiere ba tú que mira que si Lobregat, pati si Climaco, man unite otra vez?
Actually, sir, no, as un sambuanggenyo tamen, hindi kita man basa na posisyon, no, kay kita bias, si man basa kita na posisyon. As un sambuanggenyo, no, kira kita mira, otra vez, cosa el hope, kunel maga sambuanggenyos. Sabi to, sir, no, estudyante pa lang yun, tan admire ko na Climaco and Lobregat team, no, kay sila mga tsehon to yan start. So, tapos di kita mira si ko sa el progress siya na di aton syudad. Tapos di tamen kita mira si ko sa sila tapos di ayuda. Tadali ko na di aton syudad. So, during that times kaya na if and kaso man kaya un konsehal in the future, kaya man hunto sila otra vez para dali el ko sa gayot necesita ko na daton sa banggenyos. Kaya during their time, manada sila kasi pwede kontribuhi. So, hindi sila tamira di ila politics, no? May politics within na dila group. So, bale smooth sailing di aton syudad. So, alegre di aton mga vivientes na if possible, man unido era di aton no? El klima ko pati Lobregat. Pero respeta kita syempre si cause el decision del destel bot grupo.
My last question. By 2022, debe ba kita po ng mga jóvenes siya, no masya kunestos mga trapos?
For me, sir, no? Manada...
That is the trending nga, mga jóvenes yan. Manila, joven.
See, actualmente, sir, no, if we compare, no, necesita syempre kita kunel di aton mga seniors, no, seniors counselors, si kere man sila otra vez kore, para giya, no, mas bale kasi syempre so, no, si man mix kita el idea del un joven pati el un idea del veterano. So para kasi ta susudayan na daton syudad auras, no, bien alegre lang también yo and grateful yo ko na din yung fellow counselors kay tadala sila kumigol oportunidad para uwi también el din yung suggestions para man merge kita, no, man collab kita si Cosa Bael para na bundle di aton syudad. Actualmente from previous SKs, no, tapodigat kita participa este tiempo tadaligat kita ang mga concerned dahil mag-hovenes, hindi lang dahil mag-hovenes, at the same time, tamira tami kita kosal concerned dahil mga barangay, i-individual na di aton syudad.
So
So,
anyway, our time now is 7:37, ano? Before we proceed, I would like to greet my good friend, my compadre Roger Tan and his family. You know, the talent and expertise of Roger Tan in business have contributed to the progress of Zamboanga City. Of course, my brother-in-law Lameta Arnold and all other relatives there, and of course our friends, not only in Zamboanga City, but throughout the country, because we are now live on Facebook and YouTube. Well, anyway, Senator Kuya, tapos ka na?
I would like to ask you, are you a member of the Conscience Black or Aquel Otro?
yes sir, member yo del, sir, Conscience Black.
Naku, sa tapas ako del di aton budget.
See, actually sir, no, during that time, last session, yan introduce LD Aton Konsehal Sang Jimenez for the for second and third reading for the approval del di aton ordinansa del di aton budget. Pero during that time sir, no, iyo uno del mga Kenyan kontra ko na kel, no, because I respect el position or recommendations del di aton Committee on Appropriation and Ordinances and Resolutions. During that time kasi sir, no, may paakaba el committee ba, may pa sila sera. And during the budget deliberation, iyo tamen el uno del mga konsehal Kenyan stay 3 days and kwanto ora during deliberation. So ta participa también kita, tan suggestion tamen kita ko sa pwede incluhi, ko sa pwede man additional kung nagdi aton mga departments na mga nesesaryo. So curious kel man reflect na komitiba para amokal tamen keda uno na mga recommendation sir. So el dimio alya yamira yo el necesita respeta con el komitiba si ko sa LDE la recommendations at the same time asi anay akaba kunel komitiba sera anay man adjourn anay sila kunel committee, no, before chene ko sa mga ko sa reports, ko sa mga recommendations.
Anyway, budget hearing ang pinag-usapan, Edo, no? During your budget hearing, do you have calamity funds allocated for the purpose of giving assistance to the farmer in case of natural or itong man-made calamity?
Yes sir, under po siya sa disaster risk reduction po.
Do you have a separate calamity funds for agriculture or what? All centralized or distributed to different departments or offices?
For agriculture sir, hindi po talaga siya calamity fund, pero meron din mga items for assistance sa mga sa mga farmers natin kung may mga calamity. Pero they can use also the sir.
Assistance to the farmers during calamities. Is it the CDR RMA or the city agriculture?
The city agriculture can ask from the city disaster risk reduction officer.
So last calamity, we have a lot of calamities the past previous months, no? And yet the sector of the fish pond operators and the fishery sector have not received any assistance from the city agriculture. And while the rice farming or rice farmers were given free seeds and fertilizers, but the fish pond operators were discriminated and they were neglected. We have a proposal anyway that this is already covered by an ordinance, no?
Yes po.
And this is just developed to separate the fishery city fishery office from the city agriculture. There is that existing ordinance, and we would like to make a follow up on that, because right now, as I've said, there is neglect, there is discrimination on the part of the fish farmers, because our city agriculture people are more upland agriculture oriented. They do not have knowledge in fish farming. But since these fish farmers are under them, they are now under the mercy of the city agriculture people who are upland-oriented agricultural sector.
Yes po. Sige po.
I would like to request you to please find out, no, that ordinance. There was already an ordinance to separate the city fishery office from the city agriculture office, like just like the veterinary office.
Yes,
Before
po.
it was under agriculture.
Yes, opo.
Now it is separated and they are more effective. John?
Yes po.
Okay.
Sige, sir.
Another concern que quiere quitarle van a dito attention Accordingly, there is a serious dysfunction in the behavioral approach del mga jóvenes ahora. That's why, accordingly, the behavioral approach of the youth today fails badly as compared to the behavioral approach of the youth in yesteryears.
Yes, sir.
Taman agriba to stay, kaya ahora lang, mira lang el novio, sino, matyo. At tatambe sa mano, no hay mas ahora. Antes, hindi se puede. But I can see you, you're very respectable, you're an exception. Cosa tu pwede asili, you're being la leader of the youth sector, kita mira tutte problema, kaya pwede tu liban attention del mga leaders.
Sí. Yes, sir. Uno daw mga observation tamin si kita tamira no, sir. Kaya aram miskin bata, no, tormento kita pega, tormenta kita abla. Even na eskwela, no, tormento kita pega kasi por causa ng mga existing laws. Pero kaya kita syempre man advocate or man revisit al good conduct, no, akil pakilayman respeto kung di aton mga mayores, pakilayman respeto kung di aton mga abuelo, abuela. So akil kita kaya man emphasize kanila, no, el values within na di aton persona. So kaya kita man reiterate kung di aton kaday kwal kasa, no, ta prinsipya sa siyempre na kasa, no, man adapt ko na values itambien na eskwela, it's more on enhancement ya lang. So amo ka kita, sir, no, kaya kita otra vez bisita el values na necesita para kung di aton magabata este tiempo.
Well said. Thank you.
Anyway, going back to calamity funds, no? We have now so many BIDA program, no? For BIDA,
Yes po. Yes po.
Salva BIDA.
Lovely.
Maybe we have overlooked the no hay comida, no hay BIDA. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
We have neglected the agricultural sector, particularly the farmers. No hay comida, no hay BIDA, di ba?
Yes.
That should be included for BIDA, contra BIDA. So many BIDAs.
Bidas.
So anyway, another follow-up question. What is in store for your fellow youth in the next and future generations with the present problem in Zamboanga City? We have so much serious problems. Traffic congestion, we have overpopulation, no amount of rerouting, no amount of amending the traffic rules and regulations with this problem. What do you think is the solution so that your group in the future for next generation, the future generation will not suffer what we are suffering now in Zamboanga City?
Siguro
Your thought on this?
personal thought siguro, sir, no. I can see naman po na progress yung city natin and we are highly urbanized city. At the same time, malaki yung kita ng city natin. And in terms of sa ibang lugar, kahit sa Manila, yung kapag may mga conventions kami, known yung Zamboanga City because of the contribution, hindi lang sa Zamboanga within, at yung contribution natin sa Pilipinas because of the factory, no? Because of the sardines capital. Para sa akin siguro, sir, we need to expand muna yung ating road, no? We need to kumbaga adjust yung road, i-wide natin yung road natin.
Do you think this widening of the road can solve our problem in the future? We are suffering from over-congestion and overpopulation, and the city cannot supervise the progress of Licomo, Tictapul, and Limpapa, because the city, we call it we have that so-called government center, but we are not centrally located. We are at the tip of this area of Zamboanga. If the city government center is located in Quruan, maybe that we can call it government center. No? So the supervision of the increasing population and bringing the government closer to the people is very hard with all of you, with your respect, here in this small heart of the city, and yet we can only go to these different places, far-flung barangays during election. So I think you have mentioned a while ago that you are for an expanded development outside the city proper. And the question of Ed Grenades, are you in favor, or what is your thought on this proposal to create Preciusa province 10 kilometers outside of Zamboanga City?
I consider the possibility, sir, no. I consider the possibility. Kasi we want to improve, no, not only yung sentro ng syudad. We want also to pay attention yung mga necessary things na kailangan ng ating mga barangays na left behind na din, yung mga farther barangay. So we want to bring them closer, yung government, kung anong government na pwedeng mag-support sa kanilang barangay, sa kanilang
You're
baryo.
saying that increasing population needs attention and closer supervision by our local government units.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now me, you and I. You see, being in politics, talaga kasi enticement din, graft and corruption. In fact, one of your predecessors in the past, and I witnessed it, he was bribed and he revealed this to his grandfather, and then his father was also, you return that. Tubali, you represent the youth sector. Were you or have you been bribed by, contractors and sina? Tell us honestly, siya what happens? Kaya taliga tayo si tentasyon, nukeli kita mga jóvenes get involved na mga graft and corrupt.
Si.
Have you experienced that?
So far, sir, no pa naman. So, kosa kami kaya, no, it's a new reform for SK. So, we want to ensure na kung mga jóvenes, kung mga SK leaders diato na they will not participate in any graft and corruption.
Pero tamira tu tali si graft and corruption, no, na existe na datong gobyerno, no?
Si, talisa, sir, no, it's about pakimodo to kuno man pakimodo to kuno man react or pakimodo to kuno man interact. So para kumigo, sir, no, depende sa naon gente if kerele participate or hindi. Pero kanaton na din yung position, no, sir.
Na konseho chene taming katete ta susedali, no?
Actualmente manadaman on the pwede, no, posibilidad, sir, no. Pero tali kita di atong prinsipyo na hindi.
Kay no less than Monsi de la Cruz, yabla aya na pa niya, i-expose. Kay hindi daw sila sa dinyo grupo ta accept sa mga 10%, pero chene daw konsehal ta-assess eh.
I cannot
Diba?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard him say that?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
But I cannot identify si Kenkel Consel. Si
Pero
Kenkel
it is confirmed kaya it's going on there. It's happening, no?
Most probably, so sa dagat, sir, no? Pero I cannot confirm si Kenkel Consel, no? Maybe, pwede kita man quote si Kosabla, si Monsi, kay Chene Consel, kenta receive.
That's a very serious accusation.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's a
follow up,
sweeping,
in relation to that question, before the creation of the so-called conscience block,
Yes, po.
there were reports that the franchises are being sold from 300,000 to 500,000, 300,000 to 500,000. If you apply for a business franchise, you have to pay the amount of either from 300,000 depending on the of the size of your business. You pay 300,000 or 500,000. Is that still happening this time?
Regarding sa mga business permit, sir?
Franchise.
Sa franchise. Sorry, sir, I cannot give my opinion kasi hindi po ako particular po talaga sa
No,
mga
what I
franchise.
mean, is this existing up to now in the city council?
Yung
That
regarding
you
po
are
sa
selling-
franchise, okay.
Some people are selling this franchise.
So far with the new positions, no, with the new committees, wala naman, sir. Wala nangyayaring ganun.
Okay, thank you.
So, yo quiero man pidi dito pidi contigo, gracias for attending this Pagbabago program. However, quiero contigo, no gat olvida pensa con aquel creation del province. Tamire amos el solution del mga problema dito. And then you are still a very young man, you can still go into politics for a very long time. Amos eh.
Sí. Gracias. I will take into consideration that one, sir. Sí. Gracias, sir.
In relation to that, we have to think of the future of the youth, your future, your fellow youth, our grandchildren from now. What will happen to them if the situation will be the
Worse.
same as we have now? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. This separation of the province from the 10-kilometer radius of Songo City could have been done 20 years ago. You know, development will take time, no? It will
Yes,
take
sir.
years. It is not like sili na ahang kagad. So the earlier, the better for us to start the expansion of our community, creating higher government units instead of the smallest government unit of barangay. We can elevate it to municipality, and then later on maybe some of these municipalities, if created, will become cities, just like Lamitan. Lamitan was too small versus Bitali before, in 1960s. Now Lamitan is a city. How much are they receiving it? 500 million a year. Bitali, 10 to 15 million a year, because
year.
it is just a barangay. I hope you will take note of this.
Yes, yes sir. Yes. Po.
Okay. Na siguro talaga ito. You're a nurse, no?
Yes sir.
Now, what is the future of young nurses? Sabi naman to, bawal salaryo, and most of them are even going abroad instead of helping our country. Kabaw. What do you think is there stored a good future for young nurses? You're a nurse? Kosa tutamira.
Yes sir. As of now sir, no, na-council pa lang kita, no, akin na dito ang syudad. So, through resolutions, dapat kita también PD, no, para pwede también estudia el di aton mga congressman, el di aton mga senators, if kosagat el necesita beneficio para con el mga di aton nurses. Kay el trato, akin na Pilipinas, no, el trato con el nurses, kumbaga, dol yaya, no, or kumbaga kasi sila tabla domestic helper ba sa, no, el other term di ila, and el beneficiary benefits di ila, no, hindi gayot bien grande kumpara con el otro mga lugar tan provide sila. And take note, el nurses amugat el kenta an assist con el di aton mga doctors. Without nurses, el doctors hindi pwede trabaho imbonamente, no, or mobe imbonamente. So necesita gat syempre, no, after up until, no, el dinyo term kaya pasa mga resolutions man address na national na necesita gayot man amend idalagat ang mga benefits na necessary para kol diaton mga nurses akin na Pilipinas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ed, the follow-up question?
No, I already told Karen Pyok about my welcome
Studies.
today, and never forget to think about the creation of the province.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Another follow-up question. There is a proposal to create additional congressional districts. What do you think between the creation of the province and the creation of congressional district, which is more practical and necessary? What do you think?
I guess sir, I cannot decide by this time, no. I need to understand carefully pa, no, sir. I will try to think muna kung ano yung magiging kahinatnan kapag may province creation at saka ng additional district. So,
What is the advantage if a district is created? Additional
if additional district, sir, additional allocation for funding sa congressman, and baka the Congress can also keep in touch sa mga barangays na within sa kanya and to more expand yung mga developments.
So it is more of political position, no? But even if we create 10 congressional districts in Samar City, we cannot promote a barangay into a municipality.
Mhm.
So the situation will remain the same. Everybody from the far from barangays will be coming down to the city proper for employment and business opportunities. And time will come that we can already declare the city itong walk-in city because we cannot go there anymore. Everybody is there. Mga vehicles we have more than 100,000 vehicles, and it is increasing every day. This number of vehicles, especially in the city proper. Every afternoon, every morning, you can see thousands of vehicles coming down from the east and from the west. In the afternoon, the same number of vehicles going back there. What do you mean? What does it mean? It means that these people, if during the time are here in the city proper, in the afternoon they have to go back. So they are creating traffic congestion here in the
Yes,
city proper. But if these far from barangays are developed, they will stay there and enjoy the comfort of being separate local government unit, and they can have their own employment, they can have their own businesses there. There will be active economic activities in these areas, just like Sibugay, San Miguel, and other provinces where they become a province, like Isabela, Basilan City. It was a jungle city in the 1970s, but when it was converted into a province, we have now 2 cities and 11 municipalities, all concreted roads around the coastal areas. So I hope you will take note that between the congressional district and the province, I think it is more practical and realistic, according to Ed and John, to create a province 10-kilometer radius outside Songo City, so that we can have municipalities. Maybe we can have 8 municipalities with their respective mayors, with their councillors, with their municipal officials, and we can have a governor there. Maybe in the future, you can even become a governor.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We will, I will take it.
Think about
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Noted.
it. I hope if you think positive about it, promote it.
Yes,
Pahabol,
sir.
pahabol. Ito
You still
important.
have enough time, John. Okay.
You still have enough. Okay, if ever one day you'll become a mayor, no, who knows? Nobody. And I can see your potential. What do you think will be your topmost priority kina syudad sa mga para resolve the problema kina sa mga?
Siguro, sir, in line with my in line with my profession, siguro health will also be considered,
Health.
education, and at the same time LD aton priority ko na LD aton agriculture, no. Kasi baka hindi ko nasabi kanina, sir, no. My father is a farmer. So, yung grande katyo na sementera, no. And kusal mga concern na dahil mga farmers, tapos naman kita liba na council. Kasi tiyan namin yung ideya, si Pakemodo ba, kosa tormento, no, tap society ko na dito mga farmers.
Kay manada pag tatiyempre na what is your sila thinking so yung convert sila kunin sa natalisayan into rice field kusal dito yung panali. Yan pa man, no?
Si actualmente, sir,
You are
no?
against it, no?
Yes, sir, no. Ay, actually, naipakal kami, sir, no. During our time, naipakal
Pero you heard it now.
Yes, pero for me, no, makalastima kunal mga agricultor alya, no, si Ken kaltausa kunel lote. Kasi maskin jutay or maskin grande, maskin kosa klase de agricultural land, yan importante kal kanila. Kasi tabla kanila sila, maskin umbutil de palay, worth, no, si kosa sila ta syembra. So tamira kita kosa kat kosa el dificultad dal di aton mga agricultor este tiempo itambye akal pa, no, el sociedad kanila dyan na dila barangay.
Well, actually, I've been talking more about agriculture, no? Because I am a farmer since birth.
Yes, sir.
That's why I'm very familiar with upland farming and inland farming.
Yes, sir.
Inland fishing, I stayed there for 36 years, growing lukon and bangus.
Yes po.
In upland farming, since birth I was there. So I am very particular of this. No hay comida, no hay vida.
Yes, sir.
But
Correct.
anyway, would like to ask you in behalf of the City Council, your appeal to our people sa mga city.
Yes. Otra vez, no, buenos días a todos. To subir siyempre el caso del COVID aquí na aton syudad, ojalá coopera el di aton magavivientes para el contra con este pelea de COVID. Ojalá también reza kita ay acabe este clase de pandemia de aton syudad y entero país. So, con cuidado también, no, con el di aton mag-anak, time to time, si pwede man kamusta or pwede man ketal ustedes kung nandito sa mga anak para sabi si ko sa tabi sila tasinti ko sa tanan di ila thoughts, no, regarding este ara na online classes no, the modular, no. So gracias, sir, no, gracias con ustedes na oportunidad para manjunto con ustedes y relata también el cosal concern del de aton mga jóvenes aquí na di aton syudad.
Thank you, John. Your closing statement before you. Your closing statement.
Thank you
You have closed already.
Thank you very much. I hope you're trying to be future leaders like you.
Anyway,
Gracias.
I would like to thank John, no, for his initiative in inviting our guest this morning, Honorable Councilor Kari Pio. And maybe next time around we can still invite you. So Thank you very much, Councilor Pio, for having with us this morning, for being with us, and we would like to again remind our people that this program is hosted by the Pagbabago volunteers composed of Albert Cahayon, Ed Ferrer, John Feliciano, Attorney Tongo Climaco, Ibno Torabin, and yours truly, retired Colonel Rex Meraviti. So in behalf of our members, I would like to thank our listeners, our televiewers, our itong mga avid listeners of this program. Happy weekend. Thank you very much. Good morning and God bless us all. Thank you.
This is Radio Philippines Network.